And we're going to start the show by announcing something gigantic. Dana has been crushing it in terms of reaching out and booking people for the show. And so we have a late breaking update to our schedule for Friday. Dana, tell the people the news.
Okay, so this is a lesson in shooting your shot, which will also be relevant, I suppose, to the conversation we're about to have around our topic today. But when I see people doing fascinating things on Substack or otherwise, I have just been sending a message saying, "Hi, this is our show. We'd love to help elevate what you're doing." And I did this with this guest, knowing what had happened recently, but not having the context historically of all that this woman has done and been. And I told Lawrence, and he was like, "Wow, Dana, that was ambitious of you." And she wrote back, and it took a few days, but we finally got a confirmation. I'm like nervous to say it out loud, Lawrence, because I feel like I'm going to jinx it.
You're not jinxing it. Her assistant confirmed.
Yes. This Friday, we are having a change in scheduling, and we will be joined by Karen Atia, and I hope I'm saying her name right. Jump in if I'm not, Lawrence.
No, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Karen Atia, now former Washington Post
Opinion editorial
opinion
column.
editor. Yes. She was the last Black person standing, and they just fired her.
Well, on the editorial, in the opinion section. Yeah, on the
Yes, in the
editorial
opinion section.
pages. But yes.
Yes. And I'm sorry, I'm having a
So for those
migraine
of you who
morning.
don't know, Karen
Yes.
Atia,
Jump in.
not just an opinions editor and columnist at the Washington Post, she founded the global opinion section at the Washington Post. Her opinions work has always been of a broader perspective than just the United States, right? And she often talks about racial justice and social justice and equity and global perspectives in her work, which is amazing. She was also recently fired by Columbia University right before she was supposed to start teaching her class in basically, race in the media. And rather than, sitting around and moping about that, she created something called the Resistance Summer School, which has been wildly successful. She's had literally thousands of people sign up to be on the wait list for this class. I think the first class was 500 people. The next class is taking subscriptions right now. It's going to be another 500 people. And she's remarkable. And the fact that Dana reached out and just said like, "Hey, yeah, come on our show and we'll help elevate your story" is amazing. And
It was so
also she
cheeky,
said yes.
Lawrence. It was so cheeky.
It was really cheeky, but it worked.
Oh my gosh.
So she's coming on Friday. She's joining us on Friday. We're incredibly excited. Everyone knows, we normally do fucked up Friday. We're not doing that with Karen because her entire story is fucked up. We're kind of hammering out with her people what the topic will be. But what we've proposed is citizen journalism on Substack. And, kind of now that she's here, what she's looking to do and how, how we can all collaborate together to get messages out. So that's the big news. Huge props to Dana. We got Karen Atia, formerly of the Washington Post, on Friday. Rather than fucked up Friday, we're talking to Karen Atia. Oh my God.
I can't believe it. Thank you for jumping in, Lawrence. I have a little bit of I get these like dizzy migraines, and I have one this morning. So I was not prepared to be as eloquent as you just were. Thank you. Yeah, we can't wait to welcome her. I know it's silly to say we're elevating her voice when her blast radius is so huge, but that is really what I hope we're going to do in our small way. That's what we do here. We find people who are living extraordinary lives and doing interesting, important things, and we elevate them no matter how big or small. And like, my jaw's on the ground about this one. So
Yeah.
we're elated. So we'll be posting shortly, but you heard it here first. We're
And just
waiting. Yeah,
sorry, just answering some questions in the chat. So it's just our regular show on Friday, the Daily Whatever Show.
yes,
It's 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, just like always. And while we normally do Fucked Up Friday on Friday, we are not doing that with Karen. We are going to talk about whatever she wants to talk about.
pretty much.
Yeah, and we've proposed ideas and we're waiting to hear back. But we really hope you join us. She's jumped into Substack, with both feet and has already started posting important articles here. So we're incredibly excited to talk to her. I mean, about everything. Like, I've already got a list of questions 100 miles long. There's no way we're going to have enough time to ask everything, but we're super, super excited. Yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific.
Karen Atia joining our show. For anyone who's just
Right,
people in the chat are like,
right.
wait, I'm just joining. It's spelled
Yeah,
ATTIAH. Karen, you're since you're asking, you're probably other people are asking. Do you want to? You're grabbing her profile.
I'm grabbing the URL to her profile, and oh my god, Substack, of course. Like, I
What's so funny?
I'm trying to like find search, and they've moved it. It's no longer at the top, it's on the left
Oh
sidebar.
my god, I feel like
So
yeah, they keep hiring and firing designers, maybe, and the new guys are like, no, seriously, I know, I understand user interface, and they just keep moving it. And
right.
it's like, no, the commandment is just don't change it. Please stop changing it.
Yeah. So I put her link in. Her Substack is Karen Atia at substack.substack.com. Her stack is called The Golden Hour, which I love as a name.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful.
yeah. So we're incredibly, incredibly excited to welcome Karen Atia onto our show on Friday. And we're
Yes.
equally excited for our other upcoming guests who are remarkable. So tomorrow we've got Dr. Amber Hull to talk about how Gen X women love sex. On Thursday, I'm I'm going to be here at the beginning of the show for just a couple minutes, and then I'm going to step down so that Dana can speak with our friend Allie Hamilton and Melissa Corrigan, our friends Allie Hamilton and Melissa Corrigan, about being a feisty feminist firebrand. And
No, we've been going around on the exact topic, Lawrence, and I think we're kind of netting out. We all have teenage children, and I think we're netting out on how do you launch children into the world right now, armed but not terrified.
yeah,
As a mom, as a feisty feminist mom who can see wide eyed what they're up against. How do you do that? I think that's where we're netting out as a topic. And um, Melissa and Allie have both been on the show before and are incredible women, but they have never met. We're matchmaking essentially. So I'm thrilled about it. And yeah, I also want to give like as excited. We're thrilled Karen is coming. We 99% of the time will not change the schedule. Karen Atia is exception worthy. But I do want to give a big hug to the opinionated ogre who was supposed to be on for Fucked Up Friday. He was very gracious and he will be returning on the 17th of October for Fucked Up Friday. But thank you, ogre. We owe you one. And
yeah.
yes,
Victor is Victor is noting in the chat. So Karen Atia hired Jamal Khashoggi at the Washington Post for the global opinion section. As we all know, Khashoggi was murdered by MBS, and in a horrific, horrific murder. Um, Karen Atia won multiple awards in partnership with David Ignatius, another columnist at the Washington Post, for her work on that topic, which she was friends with Khashoggi and he was murdered. Like, she had hired him and then basically had to be the advocate for truth in kind of uncovering the truth about his gruesome murder. And so she's just an absolute rock star and incredible person. So we're really, really excited to talk to her on Friday.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Here's hoping this migraine passes before then, Lawrence, because I got to be
Yes.
on
Fingers
my
crossed. And I
A
don't want to
plus.
give short shrift to Saturday because we've got
Yes.
Elizabeth Silback LaRue, Esquire, talking to us about emigration, the emigration, the one where you leave. If anyone follows her on Substack, you will see that her notes recently are very much about if you can get out now. Uh, so that is going to be a really fascinating and sobering conversation as well.
Yeah, and chock full of useful knowledge, like expert in. I love that we're when we can bring experts in their field on the show. Um, Elizabeth is a lawyer, Dr. Amber Hull as you know, as a physician. Sorry, I just got distracted because there's someone outside walking right at me, but not at me. I am I'm thrilled for our lineup this week, Lawrence. So can we do a cheers with our coffee and tea mugs?
Cheers.
We can't wait to share these guests with all of you. It's going to be amazing. Oh, and Morgan is saying Lishana Tova. Thank you. We'll say it right back at you.
Yes.
Happy sweet New Year, Lishana Tova.
Tova.
And yeah, that's unfortunately Lawrence wrote a wonderful story about the high holidays and the Holocaust, and we're not referring to the 1940 30s and 40s Holocaust we're referring to right now. That unfortunately got kind of preempted yesterday because Substack just completely melted down. We lost audio, we lost video, and finally we just sort of lost both and gave up. So I'm sorry that maybe we should redo it on Yom Kippur. It's still a high holiday.
We should actually because the Day of
We may be
Atonement.
guessing. Yeah.
What could be more appropriate? Um,
All right, let's do that.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of. Oh well, actually, we don't have anything programmed for Wednesday of next week yet, so that actually works.
Is that the date?
I,
Yeah,
I
it
I'm
is.
99% sure it is.
It starts that evening. So
Right, and then the next day we have Rob Guest, and we'll be talking to Rob from Gen X Crisis about the podcast interview that I did with him, which I've posted here. I wrote a little article about it, and I'd love it if you all could go listen. This is so vain. I
you
don't think I've
probably get
ever
that
sounded
podcast.
smarter in my entire life. Like I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, the edit really does me good.
You're
um,
so vain, Lawrence. I bet you
yes,
think that podcast's about you,
I
don't you?
do. Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah. Clouds in my coffee, etc.
I would like some clouds in my coffee. There's so many things happening today. I really do want to get to my story, but first I have to say, deep sigh, Lawrence, we don't appear to have qualified for the rapture.
Womp
I'm
womp.
not trying to ruin everybody's fly. I'm gonna go full Blondie on that. Thank goodness. I'm hoping that a lot of assholes got sucked up to the sky.
I mean,
You know,
it would yeah.
not gonna happen.
I continue to maintain the belief that people who are certain that they are going to be called up to God in the rapture are probably the people least likely to be called up to God in the rapture.
Yes,
But
I think that's
I
a
mean, I think wasn't there already an HBO show about like a certain percentage of people disappear and no one knows why, and some people think it's the rapture.
I'm not. I'm gonna say no, but
No, that was a TV show, the Miss Singer that disappeared or
oh
whatever
no,
on
I believe
HBO.
it was a show. I don't know that I believe it's true, but fine. Who am I to judge? Maybe that is what's happening. I don't claim to understand all the mysteries of the universe. Morgan is saying she's going to lay some outfits in her front yard today. Full support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Full
You should do
support.
that. Um, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love
Although
that.
I wonder, like, if people get raptured up, like, do their clothes go with them or no? And also, if
No,
no, then So you show up in heaven naked? That seems,
Sexy.
I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. Uh,
I Lawrence, we're the wrong people to answer this question, but if
we
anybody
really are.
does know, uh, Robin is suggesting fill up some old blow up sex dolls, which I just have, lying around the house with helium and float them up. Though that would be very funny. Victor wants to know if you should wear your best underpants or not.
Yes. I
You-
suppose if you're Mormon, you're always wearing your best underpants.
Oh,
Um,
that's not true at all.
if they get raptured during a tornado, where do they go? Asked Nick. Oz, yes. Yeah, Kansas.
Yeah,
Um,
acquiring
Brandon,
minds.
Brandon's going to carry an umbrella so that he can look like Mary Poppins.
Now that I would like to see.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still stuck on like if you show up in heaven naked because your clothes didn't go, maybe you enter like a dressing room first. Maybe there's like your
You show with ropes.
perfect wardrobe. Oh, right. Everyone gets robes.
I feel like really like silky, soft, gossamer robes,
Right,
something like that. I don't
right.
I
And
don't
Karen's
know.
saying that you're going commando underneath, which, why not?
It would be comfortable. I mean, I like it.
Right. Thunder Pussy says a parachute just in case. Right. Like I'd be worried that like they'd be rapturing me up and it'd be like the Simpsons episode where the tractor beam from the spaceship tries to pull Homer, but he's too fat and so he doesn't make it all the way. They have to use the second tractor beam.
Oh God, there's just a Simpsons something for everyone. Everyone and everything, isn't there?
There is. There is a
Uh,
Simpsons quote or moment for everything. But
I
enough
love it.
about that, Dana. What do
Enough
you
about that.
think about me?
I think you're wonderful.
Oh, excellent.
You know what else I
Talk
think,
about your
Lawrence?
story.
I do want to talk about my story. One small other news thing I just have to say out loud.
Uh-oh.
Tylenol does not fucking cause autism. There's not any research to indicate that this is true. I took Tylenol through my pregnancies, both of them. And if my children were autistic, I still wouldn't blame the fucking Tylenol. It's absurd. It's absurd that our president can't pronounce acetaminophen.
Right. I was going to say, isn't it the acid,
Mm.
acid, it's,
Aceto, did I get that? Did I get that right, Lawrence? He looked exactly like my father as he was like, did I do okay? Like, that was Mitch. My dad looks and sounds like Trump. He's a big New York guy, comb over hair. Like, there's a lot of resemblance. And in his more doddering moments like that, I just see my dad. But my dad knows what acetaminophen is.
right.
How does he not? How does he not know or remember that he knew that? And also, like, if it's such a focus right now, he clearly had never seen the word before. Like,
Right,
he's
right.
so not involved in this decision.
How do you not prep for, yeah, I mean, Jesus. Robin says, but Dr. Trump says it does. Yeah, Dr. Trump says actually, Tylenol bad.
I First of all, this is about keeping. This is about so many terrible things, but he said something like, "Just tough it out," as if that man could have handled being pregnant for a hot second. Um, it's painful sometimes to be pregnant. You get sick sometimes when you're pregnant. There's so many drugs you already can't take, like Advil and like decongestants. Tylenol is sort of the thing that you can take while you're pregnant, and to just say women can be in pain is part of the plan. Melissa Corrigan posted about this, and so did I yesterday. They're going to come for epidurals next. Just push through it, literally. Just push through your birth. This is about keeping women in pain. It is also about a mess that I'm like, have they really thought this through? Like, I wrote to Ogre this morning because his son is autistic. He's written about it. It's a beautiful essay about a couple beautiful essays about his son, Jordan. And I was like, I'm sorry, this must be hard for you. And we had a quick conversation about like, they're going to have to sue the Trump administration or think about all those families that are going to be suing Tylenol, Johnson and Johnson, the parent company. Um, I can only imagine this is just a grudge. I've heard that this is to push sales for the snake oil remedy to autism that Dr. Oz has.
Right.
Um,
Coincidentally, Dr. Oz has a miracle cure
yeah.
for autism that's like, it's not folic acid, it's like foliolic acid or something. It's some variant or something. But apparently,
Some
uh,
crap.
yeah,
Some complete crap, right? I really hope that this is like the Disney thing that people just are like, no, it doesn't. Stop it.
yeah.
Or
I
just,
mean, we keep wondering when that moment is going to come, right? But yeah, many people are saying in the chat, like, like you just said, Dana, there are going to be lawsuits. There absolutely have to be lawsuits.
and
I
what's the end game there?
Right.
Like,
We really hope that people understand that autism is genetic, has nothing to do with, mercury in vaccines or formaldehyde in vaccines or acetaminophen or any of that other bullshit that they've been selling. Like, autism just exists. Not everybody with autism, is non-functional. Like, yeah, there are so many wrong pieces to this message. It is absolutely maddening.
yes. And that there is NPR put a thing up. I'm trying to remember the exact language. I saw it on Facebook last night that was like, there is little solid scientific evidence that this is true. And I replied and was like, what you're looking to say, NPR, is there's no scientific evidence at all to
Right.
back up this claim. Don't couch your words. You will not get more funding because you're playing along, even in the slightest way, with this trash.
Right.
Stop
Right.
it.
This is, once again, like liberalism and the scientific method maybe like does us harm because, like if you were asking a scientist, they would probably say like, based on all available data, there's no indication that blah 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 blah. But being a scientist, I must withhold, like,
In the infinite realm of
right, in
possibilities.
the like absolutely infinitesimal chance that there, but no, we can say definitively Tylenol does not cause autism. Like, we have all the data. We know the truth.
Right. Like, we don't have the data. We're not scientists. I believe scientists.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a scientist, but I believe
Ugh,
scientists.
so bad.
And, based on everything that I understand, like, this is just complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. Cat saying the study had an N of 30. They had 30 people in the study. That is not comprehensive by any stretch of the imagination.
Ugh, it's just gross, Lawrence. It's so this oh god. All right. We're not gonna get a fucked up Friday this week, so I had to put that out there, right? That's just cr- just maddening. Okay. Let's
So
shift top
you have an article
that I
that you
just
posted
shared.
recently,
Yeah.
How I Learned Not to Date Down. And this is more in your dating adventures series.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and it's a great article.
Thank you.
And in it, you're talking about kind of several dates that you've been on, right? There's Sven, there's Rex, and kind of what you learn in the process of going on dates with these men and sort of the weird outcomes, right? The less
Yeah.
than exciting and fulfilling outcomes from each of these. Do you want to give everyone sort of a précis on?
Yeah. I sure will, Lawrence. If you're following the sort of sequence of this 2-year post relationship ending window, there was the happy end to that relationship. There was the whirlwind excitement over the online guy that never materialized, and then there were a few very unsatisfying dates. Eh, Actually, I won't go into all of the backstory there, but at this point in time, I had I'm trying to decide if I wanna come at this here or if I wanna talk culturally about the idea of dating down first. No, I'll talk my own personal story first, and then I'll get there. Um, I have this theory that is a truth. Online dating is demoralizing, hard. We all know this. It sucks for many reasons. But one thing that it is at the end of the day, at the risk of sounding crass, is a marketplace. And everything in a laissez-faire marketplace has a value, right? And, um, there are always people shooting their shots on dating apps,
Because
which
everybody saw Hamilton and doesn't
yes,
want
they're not
to
there.
throw
Yes,
away their shot.
um, there I'm trying to be careful of how I choose my words here, but at this point in the dating adventure, I think I was doing more of a let's give this a chance. Let's just see how this goes. Even though maybe I see some things in this person's profile that aren't ideal, like nobody's perfect. Let's do this. And in this story, it opens with a suitor, Sven, I'm calling him, and that was not his real name, and it was also not his real name when I met him. He asked me to call him a different name, which was already off to a slightly strange start.
Yeah, that's a little okay, little
Yeah,
sus, as the kids would say.
yeah, yeah. But we met and took a walk around Green Lake, which is a public park here. It's about 3 miles around the perimeter. It's lovely. It was this very gray day. And this was a while ago. So, like I don't know, year and a half ago, a year ago, we I had talked to him on the phone and was really excited in talking to him because I was like, wow, this person is doing really interesting things. He seems really smart. If nothing else, I feel like this is going to be a friend. This is going to be a person who I'm going to know. Like, it's just one of those very sparky conversations. So I was very excited for the walk and walked around the lake, and it was fine. I was, a little nervous because I always am, and it was very gray, so it was quiet, not that many people around the lake. But I thought it was going fine, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not totally sure if I'm attracted to this guy, but, like, this is great. We're having a good time. We're walking around the lake." And you never kinda know when you're on a date of, like, what's the other person thinking, but we get to the end, and he asks, "Do you wanna go around again?" And in my head, I was like, "I have a lot of things to do today, and I'm not really wearing shoes for 6 miles, but, oh, okay, let's go around another time." I don't wanna turn him down, and, like, I was interested enough to say, "Yeah, let's walk around another time." And as soon as we start that second lap, he immediately, like, shifts the tone of our conversation, um, by asking a question of, like, I'm trying to remember how it was worded. It's in the story of um, it being a two-way conversation. I always enjoy having a conversation, and I jokingly am like, "Oh, so are we having a conversation?" And he was like, flat affect, "No, not really."
God damn, bro.
Well, total shift, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And he then chides me, like, "A conversation involves back and forth and someone asking questions about me, and that hasn't happened." And we like, just set out on our next lap.
Right. So you wanted to go around the lake again so you could scold me. Cool.
So, you know me, Lawrence. You know me well enough to know that, um, I perceive in the moment more than I'm able sometimes to act. I've gotten better at it because I worked at it my whole life. I now wish in rereading that story, I'd been like, "Cool. Well, in that case, I'm gonna go back to my car. Have a great day." But in the course of that conversation, had said, "Oh, I talk a lot when I'm nervous," because I do. And
Yeah.
so I took
Dana
this
is
very
nothing if not voluble. And to her credit,
yes,
she knows it.
I do know this. And so I was like, "Oh my god, did I just completely dominate this conversation?" Like, I took it as a flaw and spent the rest of the time trying to be very like, it made me sort of wooden a bit, but, like, "Oh, I have to pull way back and,
Right.
ask a
And
lot of
ask questions now.
which
What do you like for dinner?
yes,
I'm steaking potatoes. How fascinating.
what is your favorite color?" And it really
Blue. No, no, pink. No, no,
yes,
blue.
boom, off the bridge. So we finished the walk around the lake and, you know what, and it had started because we had started talking about online dating when we started that second round, and I was like, how it can be a really big time suck, and I made a joke, which I have said many times in my life of, like, I run on very tight margins. I have a very full life, and so things that take a lot of time and are not fruitful can be frustrating, and he muttered this, like, "Well, thanks for penciling me in." Like, that was the first pissy comment, and then it went into the, "This hasn't been a conversation." And the date ended, and the story then begins a few days later when I'm at dinner with a dear friend of mine, Sunny, who has joined this podcast before. And as I sat back, I was like, this isn't the first time recently that I feel like a punching bag a little bit. And I was really trying to sort out why. And it felt silly showing up and she was like, how's it going? Are you dating anyone? And I was like, I just blurted out this men are being mean. That was the only word I had for it. Was I was just like, everything feels very mean right now. And um, she had known beforehand about some of these guys who I had been meeting. And the conclusion that she came to me with was like, you need to not date down. And at this point, it, so I'm looking at the comments for a second. So dating down is a kind of cultural term of the moment, or one of many, a new lexicon around dating. And when she first said it, it took me aback a bit because I hear it more about incel circles. The concept of dating down seems to be tied to that notion of hypergamy, which is a very old-fashioned term for when women had to marry up in caste ranking in order to improve their station in life because marriage was all they had. And hypergamy is an incel term now that's used for women who are looking for a dude with 666. Have you heard this before, Lawrence? Like 6 feet
My,
tall. The 6 feet tall, six-figure income, six-pack of abs that all women are seeking. And
I
hypergamy,
mean, sweetie, I'd hope it's at least 6 inches, in the pants, if you know what I'm talking about. At
right? They don't,
least,
at least,
like
that's why,
min bar, you know what I'm saying?
yes, agreed. But by hypergamy standards, that's not important because that doesn't elevate your station in life. That's just for pleasure. And, women aren't here for that, Lawrence. They're just here to get the money, get the hot guy to show off. That's the incel language I'm quoting. And so what I'm doing in this story is re-exploring the idea of dating down through my Gen X feminist lens. And the conclusion that I drew in doing this was in conversation with Sunny was the sense of I was raised to believe men and women were pretty equal, sort of anything you can do, anything men can do, you can go do, Dana. Go major in whatever you want,
Right. No, I
have
know.
whatever career you want. This is how we were raised. I do tend
Anything
to
I
think,
can do, you can do better. Anything I can do, you
yes,
can do better than me.
sure. I mean, that's true. So in my mind, as we get older and date, people are more established in career. People are more established in what they have accomplished or not accomplished in life that they may have wanted to do, right? And there is a sense of doors closing, right? Of course, by our ages, especially for women, if you haven't had children of your own, that's not going to happen anymore. And there can be a sense in creative accomplishments or professional ones that maybe you're still going to do that, but it's not like when you're all in your 20s and you're like, the world is ahead of me, right? And so having this conversation really made me pause and think about these men, because in my mind, I prioritize connection, kindness, intellect, chemistry, things like this first. And if a guy is not my equal in those areas and in the other kind of more traditional six-pack, six-figure income sorts of ways, I don't mind. Those are not my top priority as long as they are doing things that are fulfilling for them and interesting, et cetera, or at least they're doing what they need to be doing. But men see me as a threat. And it wasn't just the men in these stories. As I've been preparing for this conversation of a, a thought of a couple of men from years before, who you'll recognize some of these men, Lawrence. Um, there was one who I was really crazy about and in relationship with, who had worked for a nonprofit, a very important one, but made very, very little money. And that was fine. I was very crazy about him, and he did very important work. But he, um, very much now in retrospect, was trying to always put me down a bit. He was also a frustrated artist, like, liked to do comic book illustrations, but had never been published, had never done anything. And so, any mention of like my creative successes would be met with putting down, right? Like, I went
Yeah.
to go see The Cure, and he was like, "That's just an oldies band. That's a dumb nostalgia band. Why are you going to see them?" In ways that made me be like, "Well, are they? Like, am I being lame?" And then I was like, "No, I love The Cure. Shut up."
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Fuck that guy.
when you're crazy about someone, that happens. And, um, I also thought of someone who I just briefly went, like, on a few dates with, who also, like, lovely man, but had never had kids, lived, in still, like, a really cute apartment on Capitol Hill, our old neighborhood. Very much felt like going back in time, and I was like, "Oh, you live in my old neighborhood," and like this like little old brick building with the cute, the hardwood floor apartments like we had when we were younger, Lawrence.
By
And
the way, our British boyfriend Kelboy is saying never say anything bad about the Cure. That's a red flag.
right,
Yes,
I should have
absolutely.
I should have run right then.
Right.
Um, and this this guy said to me something about like I question if we have the same values. And we had been getting along really well, and I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he was very like the incels would have called him a beta, like just this very soft spoken. He was a psychologist or a counselor, of sort. And so it was always this very like measured. And he was like, "Well, like with your job and with your home that you own, I don't know that we share values." And I was like,
Right. What
that
the
was the end of
actual
it for
fuck
me.
does that mean?
It means I'm threatened that you have a
A
corporate
better
job
job
and a
than he
mortgage
does, and you own
and
your own
a home.
home in a good neighborhood.
Yeah, and I was like, there's literally nothing I'm more well, that's not true, but one of the things I'm most proud of in this world is that I have managed to keep this shit together.
Right. Right. Like, hey, I
Um,
bought my house 20 years ago. It was a stretch. It's always been a stretch, but I fucking kept a roof over my kids' heads. Maybe
yeah,
kind of celebrate me, bro. How about that?
yes. And so this notion of dating down in the story is Sunny was like I had just gone through those three, dates that we've talked about on the show that with these men who were attractive to me but not pursuing me. And so, I was giving these guys a chance, and Sunny was like, "You're indexing too heavily into giving a chance. These men know that they're not worthy, and so they're trying to cut you down.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
they're doing, and you're gonna get hurt if you keep doing this because this is something men do." And I was like, "That's what dating down means for someone like
Yeah.
me, is it's not that I mind, I'm not looking to be a trophy wife because that I was gonna say that ship has sailed. That ship was never in my harbor. But, um,
I just
it's
want to
not
elevate some
yeah,
quotes here from the chat.
yeah,
So Kat says nobody thinks it's an accomplishment when you raise children and care for people who are dying, but trust me, it's a huge fucking accomplishment. Yes.
yes.
Our friend Frederick joined and said, translation, I'm threatened by your success. It feels demasculating to me because I'm a weak man. Exactly. And
Yes.
Christiane says, I'm sorry, Christiane. She says, fuck, I married that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a crazy realization to be like, I'm trying to think of how to articulate this. It's not that I never look to date men based on things like traditional measures of success and income. And also, I've learned if it's a man who is very much falling off by our age, whatever it is, like there was one guy on there who I never actually met. I saw online and conversed with who is like, I'm a sommelier. Okay, well, I'm a waiter, but I really, I'm an aspiring sommelier. And I'm like, you're in your 50s. Like,
Yeah.
cool. You haven't gotten there yet. Like, I didn't say that to him at all. At all, of course. In my head, though, I thought it. And I mean, of course, I have to avoid men like that because 9 times out of 10, they come with a backhand. And it's not about me. It's about
Right.
what they haven't
It's
fulfilled in their
interesting.
own lives.
As the man in my 50s, almost reflexively am like, well, maybe it just took him a little while to figure out what he really wanted to do, right? Like
Maybe.
as a man in his mid 50s who also still hasn't fucking figured out what he wants to do with his life.
You have
Um,
done so much with your life, Lawrence,
well, thanks.
and we're
But
doing more now. Like, it's
so
like I'm all about being a late bloomer and coming into your creative power in your 50s.
absolutely, yes.
It just
As we have talked about before on this show,
and that's why,
yes,
like, yeah, right? Chances, and, this is right after this is when, I discovered the burnt haystack dating method, which is you don't give chances. If you start hearing things like that, "Oh, well, you're not engaging me in conversation. This isn't a one-two-way street." I should have just been like, "I this doesn't appear to be a match. I wish you well.
right.
Oh, look at that. My house is on fire. I gotta go."
Right, absolutely. I mean, yeah, doesn't even have to be your house is on fire. Like, I just realized I got to wash my hair. I'm sorry.
Have
I
you
have
seen
so
this
much
mess?
hair.
It takes a long time.
It takes a long time. Goodbye. So
Yeah,
define for us dating down, right? Like in this context,
right.
what is the point you're making in your article about dating down?
That's a great question. I'm differentiating it from the incel definition of women who are, gold diggers, and I'm putting that term in quotes, women who are trying to date, up, hypergamy, increase their wealth and social status. Because classically, dating down just means someone below your station in that regard. And I'm reframing it in a modern, urban liberal Gen X sense of don't date men who are going to try to extinguish your fire. Don't date men who are going to try to cut down your accomplishments, achievements, the things you're the most proud of because they haven't achieved theirs, and know your worth. I think that, like, I'm riffing a bit here, but that's what I mean by dating down in this context. And if you see evidence of men who are doing that, it can be very hard to differentiate from honest criticism. I do talk a lot, and that guy Sven, not his real name, was clever. Like, he was a smart guy. He witnessed me, nervously talking a lot, which was a compliment to him, right? I'm nervous. I'm walking around a lake with someone who I'm interested in getting to know better. He heard me say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I know I talk a lot." And I don't know if he did it consciously or not, but he pounced on it.
Right. Right.
That was a hit at the jug. Oh, I shouldn't
Right.
make it too
Right.
explicit.
Exactly. You kind of like exposed your jugular, and he was like, "Oh, I need a tasty meal of energy vampirism." Boom.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it felt like. And at the end of this story, which, here, I'm going to put it in here again. I would love if you all would restack this one because this came out last week. It made a really big splash when I put it on Medium last year, and I got a lot of men getting very defensive about it. Um, but because of the pledge drive and the news cycle, this one got buried a little bit, I think. So I'm
Right.
really hoping this one can get
And we're
another.
not sure if our experiment will work again
Yeah,
because we think you kind of need the likes and restacks
for
within the first
recency.
48 hours. But
But if enough of you share it and restack it with a comment of something in it that resonated with you, it'll get at least a little bit
yeah.
of
Okay.
lift.
So answer
Plus,
me this:
yes,
why were you dating down?
right. That is a great question, and I will answer it. I do want to finish this thought I was having right before I said,
Okay.
please restack it. I'm trying to get back to it. It was at the end. when once I was alone again, and I really did the self-reflection of like, okay, do I have something to learn from this? Was I a bad conversation partner? That has certainly happened before. I have a lot of men on Medium telling me that obviously it was me talking too much. I thought back in my head of like, how much do you know about this guy? And I was like, oh, I know all about his kids, his ex, his job, his hobbies, I was like, I engaged in a conversation with him, clearly, because I know all of this about him.
Right. Right. Like,
So I don't need to
obviously,
take
he was
ownership of this. Yeah,
telling you information. You must have been asking questions because otherwise, how do you know all of this information about this guy that you walked around the lake with?
right. I didn't drag out my like journalist pen and paper and be like, so why don't you tell me about a time when dot 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 dot?
Right. Right. Yes.
But we clearly were having a back and forth, and that really helped me put down the ownership of it to take this lesson away of why was I dating down? A scarcity model, right, Lawrence? It was me doing the opposite of the burned haystack dating method because I hadn't discovered it yet and saying, no one is perfect. No one is going to check every single box that you have a need. And so, open up and be willing to meet more people. And that was what I did. It was this sense of like, I would like to be actively dating right now because I would like to find, a boyfriend, eventually a partner. And so you have to give more people chances. This was my mindset at the time. It's the wrong mindset in some ways, which I'll get to. And so I was giving people chances, right? It was a like, um, I'm not totally sure I'm attracted to this guy. And, he had said a couple things on the phone that gave evidence of this, sort of said this like, well, I'm not really sure I'm looking to date, but I really want to meet people that, I told Sunny that before I went and she was like, Dana, don't meet this. Because I was like, it sounds like he's trying to like, you know, throw down the, well, I'm not looking for a relationship card even before we meet. And she was like, Dana, don't meet him. She begged me not to meet him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I think this will at least be a good friend. So I'm going to go. I shouldn't have given that chance because that is what that was. It was a power play, right? Of
Yeah.
like, you have an online dating profile. And we talked about this as we walked around the lake, actually, that I was like, why did you indicate long term relationship in your dating profile if that's not what you're looking for?
Right.
And then he
Because
got all
he
defensive.
right because he knew that women sort and filter
Yes. Yes.
on that. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so,
We've got
um,
so much good stuff going on in the chat.
oh, please.
I also want to point out Frederick Pogue has joined the chat and is basically begging to be brought into the conversation. Dana, if you need a straight white man to come in and help explain your story.
I don't normally, but if it's Frederick Pogue, it's always okay. And anytime we can get Frederick talking about dating, because he
All right,
doesn't do
I'm gonna
yes,
add
bring him
Frederick.
in. Because I would love
Frederick,
to
you
hear
best
him
be
and his
ready, my
perspective.
friend. Um, and I just wanna highlight some additional comments um from here in the chat. Oh my gosh, they scrolled by so quick. Um,
I love
so
that people
Rachel
are
says,
active.
I see it not as settling for less than what I need and want. That is to be able to be supportive emotionally and not threatened by me being independent and strong. Yes, exactly.
Yes. There are so many men who will say things like, I love how independent you are. You're such a strong woman, blah, 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 blah. That's what I want. And then you start dating them, and then they come to realize what it means to date a strong woman with opinions. And they're like, never mind, I want to be a prince on a white horse and
Well,
take the guys off his dress.
that's why I'm here is because I heard there was a woman having opinions about men, and I was like, oh, I got to jump in now.
Right,
I got to
right.
jump in
The
now.
bat signal went out.
You know,
We need a middle-aged straight white man to come along and tell a woman what she actually thinks.
a woman's
Sorry.
dating down. No, we're talking about
Thank
knowing
God
what
you've
she's
arrived.
worth. Oh, we got to diminish that worth. We
Thank
got to.
God you've arrived. And since some new people have arrived, this is the story we're talking about, you all. It's called How I Learned Not to Date Down.
I'm actually like looking for. I got a bit of a free day today. I got some admin stuff, but I'm looking to read it.
Please do, and restack it, you
No.
guys, if you
Oh, of
don't mind,
course.
because I'm trying to get this one. What I really want, Frederick, is a bunch
You know what I'm gonna
of
do for it? You
other
know what I'm gonna do
men.
for this piece? I'm gonna cross post it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cross post it. You know, on
I
message.
I want a bunch of angry white men on the internet telling me that I'm too ugly to date. Please, please
But you,
elevate it so this can happen. I live for this. And
no, I've seen my sister. My sister is probably so. My sister's 3 years younger than me,
okay.
and she's been through dating and been through a lot of the stuff that women have gone through. So I've kind of seen it, uh, up close and personal, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's it amazes me, and this does happen. I would say more on what the women deal with in dating than men, right? Because you get
Yeah.
similar things. People are people, but it's this sort of diminishment. And I've seen it professionally. I've seen it in dating. I've seen it all over, where it's this diminishment of what you're trying to do and who you're trying to be. Just little things, right?
Oh, yes.
Um, and part of that, I mean, I did that when I was younger until someone pointed it out to me, and I went, "Yeah, I shouldn't do that." It was not the cure, but it was like, uh, this woman I was dating wanted to go apple picking,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Man, that sounds lame." And she got really upset by it, and we had to talk through it. And it was like, my husband used to put me down, and da da da. I was like, "Oh, okay," but I didn't see it like that. It was just me being a dipshit
Yeah.
and reacting, But a lot of men don't really realize that they're doing it. And what I learned was, it's like there's no reason to be that way, especially if you're secure in what you're doing, right? Like I may not like the cure, I do actually, but you know, or something that you do that you enjoy.
Yeah.
But
And
if I'm trying to pursue you, I want to know why you like it, why it resonates with you.
right. And here's
You
the
know,
thing, Frederick, it happens during the in the case of this person and others in my past, it happens during the pursuit phase, and then it starts pivoting. And you have to realize I launched a music website, right? I ran a music website for years in Seattle called Three Imaginary Girls. It's an homage to the Cure, Three Imaginary Boys, the
Right.
name.
nice,
The
nice.
Cure is a deep part of my creative everything I am. Lawrence, my brain is going way back in time to the 90s, to my first Greg, my first boyfriend in Seattle, the only guy other than my husband I ever lived with, who was like a budding photographer. He was in his early 30s already, but was still like, I am a photo assistant and I'm going to be great one day. And part of he would always tell me that I wasn't creative enough to understand him and that I didn't have any creative pursuits. And that was a form of this. And then, like, right after, within a year or so of that ending, I changed careers, I bought a condo, and then I launched Three Imaginary Girls, and I was, like, covering it, and sponsoring shows that were live music and theater, and every now and then a photography show that I would be like, "Huh, I don't see any of his work here." For my publication that I ideated and launched and put out in the world, weird, I don't see any of his work here. Um, so
Here's
yeah,
the thing I can offer, like,
yeah.
because I'm one of these late bloomers, and I'm one of these guys that, like, well, that, it's like, "Oh, you're still trying to be a sommelier," which I know what
Sommelier.
that yeah, sommelier. I can't pronounce it, but I know what it is, right? That's
Right.
the wine guy, the wine
Right.
expert,
The
you know?
salmon guy with the wine.
Right, yeah, with the salmon and the plates now and all that, but here's, like, as someone who jumped into wanting to be a screenwriter, wanting to be in entertainment, and when I turned 40, transitioning in a career to where I felt flat on my freaking face for like 7 years, and I've just now and I've had it ups and downs, ups and downs. The thing about that is, though, if a woman doesn't want any part of that, that's fine, right? Because
Mhm.
really what we're talking about is and to, jump on your like, to jump the piggyback with your piece, you're talking about values and what kind of person you are, right?
Mhm.
And at this, it's not so much dating down is it's like, if you know who you are and what you're about, and you're there to provide a supportive, trusting environment for a partner, I like you have to like at this stage in the game, you have to already be there, right? I can't wait for you. Like it's fine if you're still working on yourself. That's fine. We're all doing that.
That's a
I'm doing that.
lifelong thing.
It's a lifelong thing. But if you're still in that negative space, if you're still in that, like where your thing is like you're the crab in the bucket trying to pull somebody down so they can stay with you because you're afraid they're going like you're afraid of their success or whatever. Then yeah. I mean, it's like I mean, well, you've heard the analogy. It's like crabs in a bucket. It's like one will try to crawl out, the other ones will pull it back down. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the analogy is crabs in a bucket. You put them in a bucket, you don't need to put a lid on it because when one tries to get out, the other ones will pull it back down,
Oh
right?
my God. I'm gonna
And
do
that's
that.
and that unfortunately, and this is part of the patriarchy. There's a lot of men, like straight white men, who are like that. I remember having
Yeah.
this hit me in my 30s, man. I mean, where it was like, I'm like, shit. I got a college degree, I got a master's, I got all this going for me, and I'm not successful. What the fuck? I'm supposed to be successful. And then I had to come to grips with like, well, why are you supposed to be successful? Well, who told you that? Right? Where's that
Right.
guarantee? Now, again, you get a lot of men who like the main difference between me and my fellow Menarin, right?
Mentoring, like brethren. I love
Yeah,
that.
my fellow
Mhm.
Menarin is I don't when I I'm an old school conservative in the so I take this personal responsibility and accountability shit seriously.
Yeah.
So if I haven't made it, I go, well, what have I not done so I can make it? What do I need to work on? Oh, I ain't got a woman. What do I need to do to be better so I can say, so some woman's like, you know what? I want to hitch my life to yours, Frederick. You know,
Yeah.
what do I need to do to be better? What do I need to do? And a lot of men are like, oh, it's the woman. I don't agree with your values of being successful and balanced and having things and a personality. That's how dare you?
I
How
don't
dare
agree
you?
with you
Like,
having a
how dare you
personality.
be three dimensional and not some construct I have in my mind of someone who's going to work for me? And it's like,
But here's the thing, Frederick, like I don't date conservative men. I mean, that's a hard no.
no.
So these are more
This is all because of the patriarchy. Oh, this straddles the fence.
yeah.
You know,
These are in the case of the men in this story, these are like clever men who I don't believe consciously were like, I am gonna set out to knock this woman down. That I don't even know that they're aware they're doing it,
Mm-mm.
but there seems to be this innate uh phenomenon that I have noticed of I believe it's called negging. I use that word a lot and I don't know that I'm always
Mm.
using it correctly, but in dating I think, especially early on like this, negging is that sense of, like we were talking about with the crabs, of just little things like, "Oh, well, I mean, I guess it's good you own a house, but, oh, you're a landlord? Like, I mean, they're bad because blah, blah, blah." Like, there's just this little tug to make you doubt things, and in this case, it was like, "Yeah, you're talking too much. You haven't been asking me questions. You are a bad conversation partner. That's why I'm gonna
Mm.
blow this up behind me, not because I'm threatened by you, but because you didn't ask enough questions about me, 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 me." You
That's
know,
I mean,
the nags.
and that's typical human behavior. A lot of people have unexamined biases, both on the right and the left, right?
Yeah,
And they also like will rationalize their decision. They'll rarely look at it like, why did this happen? How did I come to this? What it'll do is they'll say, is like, they'll take that feeling they're feeling and that they don't want to admit, right? Because it's damaging to their psyche. I'm intimidated by, or I feel diminished by being around a successful woman, right? Because I think I'm amazing as a dude. So I think a successful woman's gonna be like, oh my God, you're so awesome. Wow, here's everything and also myself. And when they don't get that, it's like, oh shit, the grand illusion is about to be shattered. She talks too much. Oh,
Hey,
she's a
gang.
landlord.
I hate to do this, especially because I'm hosting the live, and when I go away, this goes away. Apparently, I am late for another live, which I thought was at noon, but is not at noon. It's now.
Is this the Joe
So
Walsh one?
I think maybe, I don't know. I have it on my calendar as noon. I think maybe something
Okay.
changed.
That is totally okay, Frederick. Thank you for jumping in. Everyone, thank you for being a part of this conversation. This was a really fun one to write. Thank you for offering
Oh yeah, I'll do it right now.
to cross post it. And if everyone would restack this one with some comments, if we could launch it, let's
I
make
know.
some
I'm so
incels
sorry, you
angry.
guys. It's such a good conversation. I wish we could stay long, but
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
It's okay. Go follow Lawrence wherever he's heading next.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on with Nick, and I think we're talking to Joe Walsh. So
Go talk
come
to Joe
watch.
Walsh, not the guy from the Eagles, the other one.
Right, the other one. All
I
right.
love you.
Love you,
Mean
Mina. Bye.
it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.